I got to say that I've been impressed with Adrian Martinez. Not that he's been, slicing and dicing secondaries like Peyton Manning or anything, throwing the ball downfield, but certainly he's made the throws that have been asked of him and made the right decisions these last 2 weeks and being about as efficient as you could possibly be, barely missing a throw.
Yeah, and I think it has everything to do with confidence. Once he got benched for Luke McCaffrey, I think he took a long look at himself and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm good enough to do this, and it's time that I start to shine again." And it's all. I think he came out and he played well when he got the job back, and he's just been building on it since then. And you're right, his accuracy has been outstanding the last 2 weeks. He's not missing a beat, and some of those when they don't connect, he's throwing those balls away instead of throwing it out there up for grabs for anybody to get a hold of. So yes, his play has been a big reason in Nebraska's turnaround, and it helps the entire team's confidence. And you've seen the defense step up because they know the offense isn't letting them hang out there to dry like they have a lot of the times here in the last 2 seasons. So I credit Adrian a lot for stepping up and being a man, and he's always been such a high character guy. I mean, from day one when he showed up on campus here, he was just such an impressive young man, wise beyond his years. So, Nebraska is in good hands with Adrian Martinez back at quarterback.
Talk Nebraska football here each and every Thursday night, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. We got Greg Peterson, of course, here every week from Husker Online on the Rivals platform for Nebraska. Seth Sullivan is basically saying Frost said Savion Morrison is available this week. Do you think he can play a bigger role in the backfield in his first game?
Yeah, when Coach Frost was asked that, I was pleasantly surprised when he said that Savion is available because we haven't had a chance to see him in a Huskers uniform yet. As far as playing a big role in the backfield in his first game, I don't think so, because that's not the way Coach Held kind of coaches his room there. You've got to be able to put the time in and get the reps in practice before you're going to get the go-ahead in the game. Now, that being said, we don't get to see practice this year, and we haven't heard from Coach Held for a couple of weeks. So, you got to kind of rely on what the head man tells you about that. So, being available to play is different than, being penciled in there to, have a couple of series here and there. But I think that if they have the chance, they're going to give him a taste and see what he can do with the ball in his hands, because, they recruited him for a reason. He was an electrifying high school player, broke all kinds of records down in Oklahoma City. And, I went down and saw him in person in the playoffs, and, he didn't disappoint then. And, I can't wait to see him actually get some meaningful snaps.
Got a couple of viewers here who would love to see Cam Taylor-Britt come back. Of course, Yelly Belly and Seth Sullivan. And you work with the recruiting portion of this, and just following college football as closely as you do, you know what the deal is at a program with the talent that Nebraska has, and those handful of decisions that have to be made by juniors as to whether they're coming back or going to the NFL. But then we need to multiply that about 10 times. I'm just throwing out a number, but a number of times to account for all these seniors that have the opportunity to come back or can move on, whether they just want to move on with life or have a legitimate shot at the NFL. That is going to make these roster, the forecasting of these rosters, Greg, for 2021 is going to be, it's going to be huge to determine, for some teams, I'm sure their coach is going to be a bit fortunate that most of these guys are going to come back, and other are going to have mass exodus, or just basically the seniors are going to move on. But that's a huge wild card in what the roster is going to look like next year.
Yeah, you just don't know right now. it's basically a free year for everybody. So ball's in their court, and then you have guys thinking about the transfer portal as well, with that being out there. So, guys like Cam Taylor-Britt, anytime you ask me when guys are going to come out, most of the time I'm going to tell you they should stay in school and play another year. But, when money's talking, and it depends on their family situation, their financial situation, you can't fault a guy for leaving early and going chasing, his dream of playing in the NFL. A guy like Cam Taylor-Britt, you've seen the way he's been playing. I mean, he just improves week by week, and he's a heck of a football player. And I definitely think he's going to be out there playing on Sundays. And he just loves the game of football. You can definitely tell. And he loves Nebraska. He loves being a Cornhusker. So if I was a betting man, I'd think he's back. I think he comes back again. And because I think he wants to be one of these guys, one of these leaders, one of the guys responsible for turning this program around and getting it back to where it's supposed to be. And, I think he carries a chip on his shoulder because, they haven't done a lot of winning since he's been here. And that goes with all the seniors on this roster. None of these seniors have even been to a bowl game, which is unheard of when you're talking about Nebraska football. So, if they are fortunate enough to make a bowl game this year, that's going to be a factor in some of these guys. I mean, like a guy like Brandon Hymus, he doesn't have any reason to come back for another year. He's ready to go to the NFL right now. But there's guys like maybe like a DiCaprio Boodle who wants to come back again and get a shot to up his stock too. So, it's just right now it's just hard to say, and you got to let the season finish out and kind of see where they're going. If Nebraska, if they beat Minnesota here and they win their crossover game, you're talking about a team that's won 3 games in a row and, is hungry for a bowl game. So, if some of these guys get a taste of a bowl game, I've been on many of these bowl trips with the team and stuff, and there's no replacing it. I mean, those are memories that these guys have for the rest of their lives, and they have the time of their lives when they go on these trips. So, that's going to play a factor in it too. Do you see this team progressing and making a bowl game and playing for a conference championship possibly next year? All those factors are gonna play into this. So we just won't know.